Welcome back. This is the second video in a series of 4 videos in Unit 1. When we left off at our following the last video, we had created a very simple spreadsheet here with a number of labels and values in them. In this next video, we are going to take a look at how to create simple formulas and how to use the AutoSum function. If you recall from the previous video, I said that we could enter labels, which would be words that represent just that, labels, and values that can be used in calculations. Now we're going to actually enter mathematical calculations using the features of Excel. We're going to do that first by clicking on C10 and let's back up a little bit. Let's go to D3. In D3, let's type the label Year 1 Sales. If you haven't opened up the spreadsheet, stop the video and open yours up. Remember, it was titled Kite Sales Forecast, and it should be in your Excel folder where you're keeping your other files for the class. And then in B4, or in D4, you're going to type an equal sign. That equal sign tells Excel that you are ready to type a formula, a math formula of some sort. Oftentimes in math you might see 1 plus 3 equals. Well, we start with the equal sign in Excel because it sends a message to Excel that this is going to be a math formula. Now we have to decide what we're going to be calculating. In a math formula or in your Excel formula, you can put actual numbers in there, or you can put cell references. And when you use cell references, it then looks in that particular cell for whatever number might be there and uses that in the math formula. That's what we're going to be doing in this particular one. We want to multiply the net price of $15.75 times 7,500. And we're going to do that by first clicking B4. Notice that when I click B4, it shows up over here in my active cell. And I'm going to use the asterisk on the 8 by hitting Shift 8. The asterisk is the symbol that's used for multiplication, since we don't have a multiplication symbol on our keyboard. For division, you would use a backslash. It's located on the same key as your question mark. For plus, you would use the plus that's located on the same key with your equal sign, and then minus, you would use the dash that's right to the left of your plus symbol. But for this case, we're going to be multiplying B4, whatever's in that cell, times whatever's in cell C4. This is a simple formula. Our formulas are going to get much more complicated as we move forward, but at this point, you just simply hit Enter, or you can use your Enter check mark up here, and it calculates it for you. If I put, it took 1575 times 7,500, and it resulted in the answer of 118,125. I could individually enter all of the formulas for the remaining rows, but I want to simplify the process just a little bit. I'm going to use the autofill feature. If you'll notice in the active cell in D4, that's where the formula is. We see the formula up here. We see the answer down here in D4. I can grab a hold of this little box that's in the lower right-hand corner of that cell. When my mouse hovers over it, it becomes kind of a thin cross. Once it becomes a thin cross, I can grab a hold of it and drag it down. And what it's going to do is it's going to copy the formula down to each of the cells. Now, one thing we want to note here is that it is a relative cell copy. You can try this if you wish. If you hold down the Control key and you click the tilde, it's the little squiggle mark right under the escape, you can see the formulas that are in the box or in the cells. For D4, because I multiplied B4 times C4, that's what was in there, but when I copied it down, it made a change for me. It knew I didn't want to multiply the things in row 4, rather it wants to multiply the things in row 5. And so as I moved down, my cells changed relative to the distance that I copied it down. To get rid of those formulas, you can do a control tilde again, and they go back to having your answers there. That's a very simple formula. I'm going to show you something called an auto sum, which is a function, but what's nice about it in Excel, we'll talk more about functions later, but Excel has a quick way to create a function that adds a long list of numbers. I'm going to position myself in C10. In C10, I want to add up all the numbers that are between C4 and C9. And I could create a really long formula that says equals C4 plus C5 plus C6 plus, and on and on. To simplify the process, I'm instead going to use a function called an autosum. So I will position myself in C10, and I will come over here on the Home tab, clear to the right. There's a option called autosum. I'm going to click on it, and notice that it created a formula that has an equal sign, the word sum, because it made an assumption that I wanted to add all of these numbers, and it gave me the range that it thinks I might want to add. It thinks I want to add from C4 to C9. If that's the case, all I have to do is press enter. If it's not, I can just make a few changes in that and then press enter. But that is exactly what I want, so I'm going to press enter. And notice that in C10, up here I have the formula using a function, sum, and down here I have my answer. If I were to make a change, let's say in B4, and I change it from 15.75 to 22.25, watch what happens to my year 1 sales when I'm done. My year 1 sales changed over here because this formula was dependent upon B4. I'm not doing very good today. And what if I were to change the amount for Whirling Delta from 7,500 to 8,000, it would change my final number in C10. I'm going to hit undo because I didn't want to change that last one to 8,000. So click undo, and we're back to the original number and our original answer. At this point, you can save your work. We've already named it. We can save your work. You can either exit out or you can move on to the next video.